If your husband is a mama's boy, you need to watch this until the very end. My husband, Mark, was a mama's boy. I knew that when I married him, but I didn't know that Gladys saw me as a virus that was infecting her perfect son. She lived in a small guest house in our backyard. Every single morning, she would be in our kitchen before I even woke up. She'd make Mark his favorite breakfast, the way she liked it. If I tried to cook, she'd throw my food in the trash when Mark wasn't looking. He doesn't like your eggs, honey, she'd whisper, her eyes cold and sharp like needles. He only likes mine, he belongs to me. Gladys was a master at playing the victim. She started telling Mark lies about me. She'd bruise her own arms and tell him I pushed her. She'd hide his car keys and tell him I was trying to keep him from work. Slowly, Mark stopped looking at me with love. He started looking at me with suspicion. Why are you hurting my mother? He'd yell. I was trapped. My own husband was becoming my enemy because of the poison his mother was pouring into his ears. But it wasn't just words. Gladys wanted me gone, for good. The night of the red wine one Friday night, Gladys invited us to the guest house for peace dinner. She poured us big glasses of red wine. Let's start over, she said, raising her glass. I took a sip. It tasted metallic, like a rusty nail. Within minutes, the room started spinning. My legs felt like jelly. I looked over at Mark, and he was slumped over in his chair, fast asleep. She hadn't poisoned him. She had just drugged him so he wouldn't see what she was about to do to me. Gladys stood up. She wasn't limping anymore. She looked strong. She looked hungry. She dragged me by my hair across the floor. I couldn't scream. My throat felt like it was full of cotton. She dragged me down the wooden stairs into her dark basement. The smell was awful, like rotting meat and wet dirt. She threw me onto the cold ground. In the corner of the basement, there was a hole, a deep rectangular hole she had dug herself. Blood is thicker than water, Sarah, she growled. She picked up a heavy shovel. You're just water. You're thin and weak. I'm going to put you in the dirt, and Mark will finally be mine again. He'll think you ran away and left him. She raised the shovel high, ready to smash it into my face. I closed my eyes, waiting for the end. I heard a sound, but I didn't feel the pain. I opened my eyes. Mark was standing on the stairs, swaying and holding his head. He had woken up just in time. He saw his mother standing over his drugged wife with a shovel. Mom, he whispered, his voice trembling. What are you doing? Gladys didn't even look ashamed. She looked at him with a terrifying grin. I'm doing this for us, Mark. She's in the way. She swung the shovel at Mark. He dodged it, and the metal blade hit a heavy wooden support beam. The old beam cracked. The ceiling of the basement, the floor of the guest house, started to groan. Dust and wood started falling everywhere. Mark grabbed my arm and pulled me toward the stairs. Mom, come on, the house is falling, he screamed. But Gladys didn't move. She was obsessed. She started digging at the dirt with her bare hands, screaming, no. She has to go in the hole. She has to go in the hole. The entire guest house collapsed into the basement. A huge piece of the floor fell right on top of the hole Gladys had dug. When the firemen pulled us out, the guest house was just a pile of broken wood. They dug for 3 days. When they finally reached the basement, they found Gladys. She was at the bottom of the hole she had dug for me, crushed under the weight of her own home. Mark never spoke to his mother again, mostly because she was dead, but also because he finally saw the truth. Blood might be thicker than water, but sometimes blood is just a trail that leads to a monster. Now, we live in a house with no guest house, and I never, ever drink red wine.